you're looking for some tips on how to smooth out those reloads under stress, make them more efficient and timely, you came to the right place. This is Mike from Cold Bore Tactical. In this video, we'll be discussing a deep dive of the nuances of how to get those efficient reloads. We're going to discuss how to stage your equipment, kind of the body mechanics and neuroscience behind smooth and efficient reloads. All right, I'll throw a quick caveat out there up front. I'm a huge advocate of using our support side thumb to run all the controls on the support side of the gun. Namely, that would be the mag release and the slide lock. Here's the reason why. When we acquire that master grip with the beaver tail of the grip high into the web of the hand, and remember that begins at the draw stroke, and we should not give up that master grip throughout the entire engagement. For most people, however, our dominant or strong side thumb is not quite long enough to reach those controls without sacrificing that master grip. If you've noticed that prior to slide lock, you have a nice tight shot group on your target, but then after a quick speed reload at slide lock, your stuff goes everywhere, you're likely have sacrificed that master grip. It is loosey-goosey, which translates to inconsistency on target. So that is why I'm going to discuss in this video using your support side thumb to trace along the frame of the gun to hit those controls. That will enable you to keep that consistency with your master grip, translating to consistent shot placement before and after your slide lock reload. I will also give a caveat there that if your thumbs are long enough to reach those controls and you're not going to sacrifice that master grip, if that's not an issue with you, you can take it or leave it when you get to that portion of the video. However, for those instructors out there, you may want to pay attention to that, because even if your thumb is long enough to reach those controls, I'd be willing to bet most of your students are going to have consistency issues. So that will be a technique you can put in your tool bag to help those that you're charged with teaching. Now, this is going to be one of those lengthier videos of mine where we do that deep dive into the topic. So I'd suggest go ahead and hit that like, subscribe now, watch later, whatever it is that you use to bookmark your material so you can come back and review it over and over again, especially the nuances of the things that you're a little rough at and want to polish up. All right, let's get to it. Two general times you're going to have to execute a reload. Either you come to slide lock, which means you're out of ammo on that mag. You want to expeditiously drop that mag, get a fresh one in, and get right back into the fight. The other time we'll do a reload is called a tactical reload, and that's when we want to reload. By the name tactical reload, we want to make sure that we're using proper tactics. So there's going to be a tactical pause in the fight. The immediate threat is down and or you're behind cover, then you're going to top off the magazine. The other time you may need to quickly change your magazine is if you have a magazine-induced malfunction. If there's something wrong with your magazine, you do your slap rack, reacquire the grip, or you fix your double feed. We'll talk about that in an upcoming segment. If those don't work, it may be something that is a result of a bad magazine. The spring, the follower, the magazine lips, something is wonky with your mag, and if you have a spare, you can rip that one out, put the spare in, and then get back into the fight. The rule of thumb is, I'm a right-handed shooter. For semi-automatics, I want to have my spare magazine staged on the left side of my body, somewhere from the center line or the gig line, from the belt buckle, somewhere to the left. If I have a spare mag pouch on me, it will be just to the left of the belt buckle. Magazines are downward, so the bullets are down, but the tip of the projectile, the pointy end, is going to be going towards your belt buckle. The reason that I say have them in this orientation is so that as you reach down to acquire that spare magazine, as you withdraw it, your index finger is already oriented on the leading edge of the magazine. Previous segments we discussed how magazines are designed. Pistol mags are typically flat on the back side and somewhat rounded on the front side. The bullets point towards the rounded side. We have it staged upside down with the bullet space facing towards the belt buckle so that when you reach into the mag carrier and you pull it out, it is secured with your index finger on the leading edge. Here's why this is important. As I bring this gun into my rib cage, onto the side of my body, I'm going to index this into the same place every single time. As I reach down to acquire this magazine, my left or support elbow comes up, support elbow goes down into my side, and shazam, because I have practiced the proprioception for this, it goes to the same exact angle every single time. So the myelination of this neural pathway is that every single time, well, 9 out of 10 times, this mag will go straight to the mag well. I physically don't need to look. However, as I mentioned previously, my mindset has evolved on this over time. If I have a threat that is moving laterally, as I come to slide lock, I want to maintain eyes on the threat, but once I have secured that magazine, I am now of the mindset, glance down, get a positive insertion of the mag into the mag well, and then get eyes back on the threat so that you can continue to track and engage if needed. All right, so we talked about where to stage the spare magazines on your body if you're wearing a mag pouch or mag carrier. I'm not always wearing my mag carrier on me when I'm out in public. If I'm just running in quickly, I'll always have spare magazines staged in the side panel of the door of the vehicle. I can just reach down, grab one, slide it into my pocket. The challenge or the concern here is if there's no pouch in my pocket, then when this goes in, I put it in the proper orientation, but there's no guarantee it's not going to shift around. You must be aware of this so that if, God forbid, you get involved in a self-defense engagement and, God forbid, you come to slide lock, and you reach into your pocket to grab that spare magazine, be cognizant that it may not be oriented as you think it should be. Make sure that you still have the mental capacity to put your finger, to align your finger on the leading edge of the mag so it will get it straight into the mag well. There are commercially available pouches that will fit into your pocket so it will hold the magazine in the right orientation. I don't have any of those to demonstrate. Just be aware some of those are out there. I don't know which ones are better than others. It's Mike from Cold War Tactical. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe. First one we'll talk about is the slide lock reload. This goes by different names. I refer to it as a slide lock reload because that describes what the condition of the gun is. It's also referred to as a combat reload or emergency reload. In the end, the slide is locked to the rear because that's the way most modern defensive handguns are designed. Once the mag goes dry, it's an empty magazine. When the gun cycles to eject that last casing, it should lock to the rear. So I have an unloaded firearm, an empty magazine in the gun, slide lock, and a spare magazine with dummy rounds staged in the ammo pouch. Now I'm going to break it down into the subcomponents of the reload. I'm going to demonstrate this slow and by the numbers. I'm going to break it down into a couple of chunks. As you're doing this at full speed, both hands are going to be doing different tasks simultaneously. I'm going to break that down into what the gun hand is doing first, and then what our support hand is doing, and then we'll put everything together. All right, so we're going to stage the gun initially with an empty magazine in the gun, slide lock to the rear. I'm going to be at full extension at position 4, and my finger is going to be on the trigger as if I had just come to slide lock during an engagement. The first thing that must occur is your finger must come off the trigger, out of the trigger guard, and be high indexed somewhere up on the frame or the slide. Only focusing on the actions of my gun hand and arm, this elbow is going to retract and index at the same point every time on my flank. I'm bringing the gun inward, but I'm also angling it so it's about a 45-degree upwards and about a 45-degree inboard. Initially, one of the things I'll have students do is we're going to bring this gun back into the side. We're just going to take an index finger, no magazine. I'm going to put that in my pocket or in my mag carrier, and then I'm going to bring it out to replicate. I'm retrieving a magazine. I'm going to drop that elbow to the side, and does that finger hit the mag well? If it does not, then we need to play with this angle. What angle is ideal for you and your body type and where that elbow comes to the side? By having your elbows always indexed to your side, then your hands, through proprioception, generally know exactly where the other body part is. Finger on the mag carrier, elbow comes to the side. Play with it until you have that angle to where it's pretty fluid. Once you have that angle down, the gun upwards and inwards, upward and inboard, and this angle feels good. Once you've got that down, right hand at full extension or gun hand at full extension, support finger on the mag carrier, work it in conjunction. What we're doing is beginning the myelination process. They're doing it over and over again and making sure that the finger goes in each time. You can look at it to reinforce, or you can practice not looking at it. I don't really care. It's up to you, as long as you're doing it smoothly and correctly and you're getting multiple correct repetitions. Once you feel comfortable with this, we're going to incorporate the actions of the support hand. We're going to restage the empty magazine into the gun. So now, incorporating the support hand as well, from full extension, finger on the trigger, replicating in the middle of an engagement, and we've come to slide lock, finger off the trigger. As we are moving that elbow to the rear, we're tracing the frame or the slide with our support thumb until we reach the mag release. Once the mag has fallen free, our support hand is now released to come down, recover the magazine. We're going to execute the same motion we just did. Now, keep in mind that when the support hand fully seats this magazine, I'm going to maintain contact with the base plate, and I'm just going to flop that support hand over up here to the slide lock. Note that my strong side thumb has to get up out of the way. We displace that thumb upward to make room for the support thumb to flop on over. The angle that we are attempting to attack on this is going to be an angle something like this towards the top rear of the slide lock. The pivot point is here. By pushing pressure there, it gives us the leverage with economy of motion. Press down and release the slide. All right, so with slide already locked to the rear, empty magazine goes in. I'm going to take up a good two-handed grip as if I've already been firing. finger is on the trigger. Step 1, finger comes off the trigger. Step 2, concurrently, while my strong side elbow is retracting to the rib cage, my support thumb is tracing along the slide and the frame until I press the mag release button. On the way back, I let the mag fall free. Elbow continues to the rib cage. I secure the spare magazine, support elbow up, support elbow down, glance down if you need to. Once it is seated, once the mag is seated, maintain contact with the palm of the hand. Strong side thumb needs to get up out of the way. Support hand flops over, attacks the top right corner of the slide lock, pressing down with both thumbs. And then as I press back out forward, represent to position 4, support hand rotates back into two-handed grip. All right, one more time, slowing by the numbers. Slide is locked to the rear, empty mag is in the gun, two-handed grip, finger is on the trigger, replicating that you are in the string of fire. You come to slide lock, finger off the trigger. Step 2, simultaneously as the strong elbow comes to the side, support thumb traces the frame until the mag release is pressed. Secure the spare magazine, get it in the mag well, maintain contact with the palm of the hand on the base plate, strong thumb out of the way, left thumb flops over, press with both thumbs, rotate the support hand back into the two-handed grip, press the trigger as needed. We're going to start with slide lock to the rear, empty magazine in the gun, and a live mag in the ammo carrier. This will be at full speed. I'm going to do this 2 or 3 times. All right, so now we're going to talk about a tactical reload. So to recap, for a tactical reload, either there's a tactical pause in the fight, your threat is down, you still have rounds in the gun, one's in the chamber, some are still in the magazine. You've likely have forgotten to keep track of your bullets because your priorities of survival is not how many rounds did I shoot, but you should know that you have shot a few rounds, meaning I have a magazine in the gun, a round in the chamber, and I've been shooting. There's a tactical pause in the fight. I'm no longer in imminent danger right now, and or I'm behind cover and I need to get the gun topped off. This is predicated on you having a spare magazine with you. We want a technique that gets us from a partial mag to a full magazine, topping off the capacity of the gun, but we're going to retain the magazine that comes out. So if we need it, God forbid, for a prolonged fight, we've gone through all of our full mags, we still have that partial on us. So to demonstrate a tactical reload at full speed, then we'll break it down by the numbers. So remember, for the tactical reload, the slide is not locked to the rear. I still have a round in the chamber, and I have a partial magazine in the gun. I'm behind cover. And now I'm re-topped off, ready to get back into the fight if needed. During the discussion on the slide lock reload, I mentioned that I don't care if you stay oriented, focused on the threat, or if you glance down momentarily to get that positive insertion of the magazine into the mag well. For a tactical reload, especially if you're behind cover, go ahead and look at what you're doing. Look at where the spare mag is. Look at what you're doing. Positively get it seated. Get that partial mag restowed, and that way you can get reoriented as quickly as possible back at the task at hand with the minimum amount of fumbling as possible. If you do fumble and you drop one of those magazines, get a mag into the gun before you reach down and recover the one you fumbled. Also keep in mind that if there are other people around you, especially lateral or to your rear, before you stand back up, you need to give it a glance to make sure that you're not about to be in somebody's sight picture when you jack in the box up and get popped in the back of the head. Previously, when we're doing the slide lock reload, we're going to go to the very first magazine in our mag carrier, and that's the one that we're going to retrieve to put in the gun. This is the quickest one for us to go to. Once that one's done, if we have to go to another one, we go to the next mag that's in the mag carrier. That would be for a slide lock reload. For a tactical reload, there's a pause in the fight, and my slide is not locked to the rear. I'm still going to bring the gun back into my workspace, so it's a one size fits most, finger off the trigger, but as this gun comes back, I'm not going to intuitively trace the slide or the frame to the mag release. I'm going to stage the gun into my strong side as before, and I'm going to reach back and retrieve the magazine that is furthest back to the rear of the mag pouch or the mag carrier. This is going to open up an empty spot so that I can put the magazine that comes out of the gun and retain it somewhere. If you're too befuddled to do that without fumbling and dropping things, shove it into a pocket. But ideally, you put it back to where you can retrieve it in your normal slide lock configuration if needed. So you retrieve it, still index finger on the leading edge, but at this point we're going to take and turn and hold it in what you would refer to as a cigar type hold. This allows me to use my thumb to press the mag release on the side of the gun, and also use the bottom of the palm of my hand to trap the base plate of the mag that comes out of the gun so I don't drop it. Now, since this did not just fall free, I'm going to use the space between my ring and pinky finger to grasp the mag that's in the gun. It comes out. The full mag goes in. Remember, because this is a full magazine and the spring is under greater tension than a partial mag, you can't just put it in and expect it to click. You're going to have to give it a little oomph, making sure it seats. Now you're going to take this partial mag that came out of the gun and you're going to re-stow it into the mag pouch. Now you have a round still in the chamber and a full magazine topping off the gun. And your partial mag is the one staged furthest away from. If you come to slide lock, you can work your way progressively back to that partial mag. So while working from behind cover, bring the gun back into your workspace, retrieve the magazine, swap them out, stow the partial, and now you're ready to reorient back towards the threat. Hey, this is Mike from Cold War Tactical. When my kids were little, I used to ask them, what did you learn in school today? We didn't learn nothing today, Pops. Well, that was a wasted day now, wasn't it? So, I'll ask you, did you learn anything today? If you did, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit the share, send that link to your friends and family as well. Until next time, God bless and be safe.